A couple more thoughts about XPeng versus NIO, or maybe versus ONVO in particular. So in the last couple of days I looked at more brands and stores and tried to compare them again with my first impressions of ONVO, and I've also taken the step and went to another XPeng shop because I wanted to see also their new cars like the P7 Plus as well as the Mona, which sort of even its own brand, but not really. It's more like a new model car only, as it's also being sold within regular XPeng stores. So not that much of a difference actually from real XPeng cars. And I have to say, like, what impresses me about XPeng is now that their lineup is pretty complete, and you've got the big van type of stuff, you've got the sedans, you've got a Model Y type of thing with the G6, and that model really was the first one that really impressed me with XPeng. I remember that in the auto show, and I think this is also highlighting the strong point of XPeng recently, and where I think actually they even have an advantage over ONVO, to be really honest with you. Like the G6 started to have this really nice interior design, in my opinion, which felt kind of premium in a sense, just very good quality in my opinion. It really is feeling very, very good inside of the car, and I really like the choice of material. It's even having not this techy look only, it's fashionable even. It's having very nice texture, and I think it's actually even good quality and will be looking great in a couple of years down in ownership. With the ONVO, I've got question marks here, to be honest, with the dashboard, which is very Model Y-esque. They've used this type of Karun, sustainable wood type of thing. I guess I have to look it up maybe, because that's how it appears to me, that it seems to be what they have implemented with NIO first. And I have to say that it's, again, my critique of ONVO there, that's a bit too much like the Tesla Model Y, and so they took out the same part with the dashboard there, and pretty much upped the quality in comparison to a Tesla, which is nice. I think this is a success. But I have to say, like, XPeng maybe found its own language and design and style a little bit more with those interiors, and I can see that again in the Mona and the P7 Plus, and I think that's something to give XPeng credit there, in my opinion, because in the very past I always had like XPeng much in the box with some of the other kind of no-name or less quality type of manufacturers, and I think on the inside, XPeng is really improving a lot, and therefore I think might actually snitch some customers from ONVO in this regard, or maybe even from NIO, who knows. What I think they lack is, like, on the outside, the styling is okay. It's a little bit of what's your personal taste, but I think the quality, especially of the paint job, is not great. I think this will be looking very cheap very soon, so I'm not a big fan of that, but I guess lots of the first-time Chinese buyers, they wouldn't mind that much, or maybe they have also no idea how this will age and how it will look in a short amount of time. Maybe they are just happy to get something that looks good in the beginning, and then over time it's not going to age that well. But that's where NIO and ONVO is much better, where you get with, especially also with ONVO for the money, a very, very good designed and quality type of car. So when it comes to competition, because ultimately this is like my judgment here on whether or not ONVO can compete well, or how NIO versus XPeng will play out, that sort of thing. I'm recognizing here that XPeng is having a very good lineup and quite some improvements on the interior. However, I still think that ONVO, for example, is the better car overall, even compared to all of the lineup that you have with the XPeng cars. The XPeng cars are very small inside, especially the sedans. And I'm not so sure about this unique advantage which they claim to have about not sustainable driving, but self-driving, autonomous driving and stuff like that. Because I think, to be honest, from my tests that I've done here, and also looking some of the videos and such, I don't see a gap between XPeng and NIO, and especially in the future. I don't think this is something where they can have a moat and compete on, despite the fact that they are using it for the branding, right? They are more this techie brand. And one gotta give it to XPeng. Yes, they are also doing initiatives like the robots and the drones type of stuff. Whereas for the drones or flying cars, I'm very bearish on those prospects. I'm not a big fan of that. I think it has not much of a future. That's also why I'm not very keen about covering, for example, a company like EHang or investing in myself in that. I think what they're doing is interesting, though, and I also know that they're quite open to, especially also to foreigners and to coverage. So I'm not hoping or betting, hoping that they fail or betting against them. On contrary, I hope they do it. But I just think flying cars are not that feasible, and especially with the noise and stuff. I think that the application cases might be somewhere else, and so that's why I'm not giving, a huge margin of advantage here to XPeng working in that field. If NIO would work in that field, people would again say, oh, that's just a distraction from the main business, right? Selling cars. So who knows? But yes, certainly helping their branding for becoming like a more tech focused company, that's for sure. But ultimately, if that will yield dividends, I'm personally very skeptical about that. For robotics and kind of an Optimus type of thing that XPeng is pulling off there, I think that's interesting. Maybe they can become a player in that. Certainly this way XPeng is much more copying Tesla from a company, from a vision type of approach than, for example, NIO is. That's why I also usually really am very keen on that NIO is quite different to Tesla and hopefully keeps on being different from Tesla, especially when it comes to the business model. Now the ONVO is getting a little bit too close to the Model Y in my taste, but if that helps with the volumes and getting NIO up in profitability, then yeah, I'll take it. And I have to say it's a great car, and it does do the battery swapping thing, right? And so overall, again, my judgment here, I think NIO will be the bigger company in the end than XPeng. I know the market cap is contrary to that, so investors are speculating that there will be more profits down the line with XPeng compared to NIO. I think what currently helps XPeng a lot is the partnership with Volkswagen. I actually think that is a danger. I think XPeng in the future might become more of an R&D agency for Volkswagen than they actually become profitable by selling cars or becoming big as their own brand. But that remains to be seen. It certainly helps the stock right now because it's adding some revenues that are high margins, that's leading to profitability and so on. But if that's an outcome for them, they can leverage their now what I claim to be successful interior design and design of cars. And the cars are, competitive, but nothing outstanding in my point of view. That's how I would sum it up. I think that you will get more value for the money within ONVO than for any XPeng car, and that's what's will be making it very difficult for them in the future, I think. What else? I just want to again emphasize that I'm not here usually to talk down other brands or cars, and I'm not against XPeng, I'm not against Li Auto. I just want to say that again because sometimes I get these comments, that I'm against other companies and I don't want them to succeed. I'm really not like that, especially seeing, for example, some Tesla bulls always cracking down on NIO in the comment section and are against the success of NIO. I'm really not like that. I think it's not a us versus them type of thing. I'm just thinking really, and that's the outcome of this video again, that I think NIO will be the bigger business in the end. It's the bigger vision, it's more important vision, and it's also in the more interesting premium to luxury segment. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.